Today we have with us the creator of some of the most path-breaking and popular shows for millennials and Gen Z alike. Her first iconic show was something that she not only wrote but also directed, and it was called Hip Hip Hurray. Let's hear it from Nupur how she has been managing to build bridges for generations.
Hi Priyanka, thanks for having me.
I just want to start with going back, taking you back to that journey of how you began Hip Hip Hurray, how the idea came to you.
I'd been assisting Ketan Mehta for 3.5 years, and we had just released Arya Par, and I felt कि यार अब वक्त आ गया है कि I should, go independent, do my own stuff. But I didn't know how to raise money for a feature. So I thought maybe television will be a stepping stone. So I wrote a couple of ideas down in story form. Hip Hip Hurray एक था और एक और था. And I had a friend called Sharifa who was doing costumes on Seahawks at the time that UTV was producing. And she said, I'll take you to my producer, Anirudh Mitra, and you meet him with these ideas. And I said, okay. So she set up a meeting, I went. So when I met him, he liked Hip Hip Hurray, the concept. And he said that, okay, why don't you develop it to 13 episodes and then I'll take you to meet Zarina. I said, okay. So then I went back home, and over the next couple of months, I wrote 13 episodes. Ki kya hongi inki kahaniyan. Then I met Zarina. UTV was like a big production house in those days. So I met her, narrated, and she reacted like you want every producer to react, She laughed, cried, and was emotional in the right places, all of that. And then at the end I said, but I haven't directed independently. She said, it doesn't matter. I can see from your passion that you're going to do this. And that was it. It was as, simple and easy as that. And there was nothing for kids on TV in those days. And I had always wanted to go to, an ideal school. We used to read Enid Blytons when we were kids. And so I created this ideal school with these, quirky characters. And it just came to me, and that's what I wanted to talk about. And then I just started writing, yeah.
Your first show became a cult in itself. Was it something that you had ever imagined? And the audience's reaction, how did it impact you?
Yeah, जब हम बना रहे थे, I had no clue that it's on air and people are enjoying it. I had no clue. See, there was no social media, and I was writing, directing. So if I'm not writing, I'm shooting something. If I'm not shooting, I'm in edit. If I'm not in edit, I'm in dubbing, or I'm in music or mix or whatever. So 1.5 साल तो ऐसे ही, like they just went in that. It was only after the show got over and I was actually going to the US for a holiday, for a break. Then I met a couple of people in the plane. There was a mother and daughter, and they were like, there's only one show that she's allowed to watch, and that is Hip Hip Hurray. And then I was like, oh wow, oh that's my show. So ऐसे करके धीरे it kind of started, trickling in, and it started hitting me that, oh, people are actually enjoying it. Even then, I never kind of understood the impact of the show really, till much later, till maybe 10 years, 12 years later. Anybody who would call me and say that, we loved Hip Hip Hurray when we were in college. Now journals, when they call me, they say we loved Hip Hip Hurray in school. So now, okay, I feel like a bit of a fossil, but I guess it's had some kind of an impact, which is, it's a bit overwhelming. Today, at that time, I had no idea.
Was it a very well-planned, structured path that you followed? You knew exactly? Or was it something that things kept happening and, you kept going, following the wave?
In school and college, I used to direct a lot of plays. And when I was doing theatre in college, I kind of knew at that time that I wanted a bigger sort of platform to tell stories. And I knew I wanted to be a filmmaker by then. So then I came to Bombay, to Sophia, and I did this mass media course, postgraduate course. And I was one of the 3 girls who wanted to do films at that time. So I knew I wanted to do films. I made a chart of which are the directors I wanted to assist. And at that time, Ketan Mehta had just started a feature. So I went and interned with him. Then I first AD'd with him on a feature. So I was with him for about 3.5 years. And like I said, I didn't know how to raise money for a film. So I thought, chalo, let me start with television. Let me start small. Yeah, but after that, it took me 10 years to make a feature. So clearly things never go according to plan.
Were you aware of the challenges but still chose to ignore them, or you never paid attention? What was your approach?
I never paid attention to the challenges. I knew it was going to be like, it's not a piece of cake. There's no template. It's not like you did your MBA and then you started working in a company where you perform well and then you'll get promoted and then from there you'll become EVP and VP and C. None of that happens in our industry, right? There's so many variables. so many permutations, combinations. So yeah, I mean, I didn't think about them. I just plunged into the deep end.
With your varied experience of these many years, what is the advice that you would like to give to anyone who's starting out in the current times?
Bed of thorns, for sure. And you have to be persistent. Without persistence, you can't get ahead. You know, it's like being in a boxing ring. You're going to keep getting hit, you're going to fall down, you have to just get up and start again. So even if you fall, you have to just not think, oh my God, up to now let me start doing something else. You have to just stick to that path. Keep your head down and keep working, and you know, at some point, hopefully the universe will reward you.
Is there any other show or anything else that you created and the audience's reaction really surprised you?
I didn't expect so much love for my first film, Mujhse Friendship Karoge. That sort of took me by surprise. Mahive took me by surprise, the love for it. Even today, that takes me by surprise. And my second film, Bewakoofiyan, the bland response to it also took me by surprise. I did not expect that response. कि लोग जाएंगे ही नहीं देखने के लिए. That took me by surprise. Yeah, in a very different way.
How do you handle these surprises, the good and the bad? What's your strategy to
keep yourself slightly detached? Now I'm a little detached. पहले तो बहुत लगता था, you know, especially after Bewakoofiyan तो बहुत लगा था. But now I'm a little detached. I'm like, oh, if people love something, I'm also like, okay. And when people hate something, I'm like, okay, you know. I'm not going to hate that thing that I made because other people hate it.
Was there ever a point in your career that you thought that maybe I could have done something else and it would have probably, you know, been better? Did you ever think of an alternate career?
No, I never had an alternate career in mind ever. But कभी-कभी जब बहुत गुस्सा आता है or something like, God, I should have listened to my parents and I should have done my MBA and I should have been head of, you know, some ad agency or something. Then, you know, but those are very random thoughts. They're not like serious thoughts. But I never thought of anything else that I would do.
Would you advise people to make a career in this line of work?
Only if you're passionate about it. Only if you're passionate about telling stories. You know, if a DP passionately wants to visually create on screen, a writer wants to write his or her stories, a director, whichever department that you work in filmmaking, you have to be passionate about it. You can't come into filmmaking because of glamour or because you want to make money. You have to be in this industry because you want to tell stories and be passionate about telling them.
Because it's so hard. Sometimes I keep on wondering that what has sustained me for so long. This has been my longest sustaining.
Because your passion for cinema.
Yeah. Sometimes I question that also. Am I?
Everybody does, yeah.
But I think you definitely need that. You have to be in love.
Absolutely.
With this
crazy
line of work.
Yeah.
When we start our filmmaking journeys, we have our role models and we think that, okay, I want to be remembered like this person or, you know, something, I want to build a legacy, you know, of some sort. Did you ever have those aspirations? Do you want to be remembered as a creator in a particular way?
I mean, I never thought, I like this filmmaker, I want to be remembered like this filmmaker or that filmmaker. Or I didn't have that ever. Never like, I want to build this empire like so-and-so. No, none of those things. But I would like my body of work to be definitely remembered and cherished, of course. And, you know, like you've called me here after 28 years to talk about Hip Hip Hurray. Hopefully someone else will remember, you know, people will remember other things as well that I've done. And possibly remember me as a person who chased the truth, whichever story I was trying to tell.
So coming back to Hip Hip Hurray, I know that there could be memories which are a little clearer than others. When you went on the set, the first day, do you remember that day?
So we were shooting the first episode. There was this character who was in the car with her parents and her mother is driving the car, and we were shooting in this lane outside UTV, Andheri East. And the mother, the actress who was playing the mother, is driving, and there was the rig was on this window, and she stopped and she crashed into a truck that was stationary. The camera fell, And I started crying thinking my career is over before it has even begun. And I ran and after UTV was right there. So when we broke, I was like, oh my God, I need to go and tell my producer that this has happened. So I went to Zarina and I said, this has happened. And she said, darling, it's okay. It's insured. Don't worry about it. And I was like, oh my God, now I'm going to be able to continue working. I was so naive. I was 26 years old. I thought that was the end, but it wasn't. So yeah, that's what happened on the first or second day of shoot.
For a first-time director, working with so many actors for different characters, making sure that what you've written is coming out, how did you manage that and what were the challenges?
There are 14 characters. And I did like a 1.5, 2 month extensive workshop with them. Every day for 3 or 4 hours in the evening, we used to do a workshop, acting workshop, talking also, theatre, whatever, everything. Improvising scenes from the show, etc., from different episodes. But what I told them was that, this is an ensemble. Isme koi hero nahi hai. Everyone will get their episode. Each person will rise to be the hero of 2 episodes, male or female, and then you'll be supporting in the rest, and that's how it's going to work. And they were all new. They were all on board with that. And I think by the time we went on set, we were all like buddies. So they understood. But yeah, the guys were like really tall and I had to sometimes like really shout and scream and stand on be like a teacher, stand on the table and say, shut up guys, we have to shoot now. But they'd also never been on shoot before. But it was a lot of fun. And so yeah, a discipline was, I had to be like a teacher sometimes or like a therapist.
But you were also very young.
Yeah.
So did that come in the way ever that, how is this young girl?
Not for the kids at all, not for my producer. I never thought that I am this woman directing none of that because, my DOP was a first-time DOP, my editor was a first-time editor. So we were all like in it together, it was like a bunch of people just making something together. And behind us, there was Zarina, standing like a rock.
So Hip Hip Hurray was something that, took off really fast. But after Hip Hip Hurray was over, was there anything that you felt that I really need to make and something which has still not taken off?
Yeah, my first film. I wrote it immediately after that in 2000, 2001. It never got made. It went from producer to producer, actress to actress. Nahi bani. I stuck to it for 3.5 years and then I realized that, okay, I need to move on. I need to shut this, start working on something else. So then I made a couple of other shows, wrote some more scripts. Like I said, you keep persevering.
And how easy was it for you to make the transition from finishing one big show to your next?
We had 26 episodes. Then uske baad, as we got extended to 52, then we got extended to 80. But then I was burnt out. I was done with Hip Hip Hurray by then, 80 episodes. Ho gaya, teenagers ki kahani, I had said it, and I didn't do whatever they call season 2, kuch aur bhi bana tha uske baad. I wasn't a part of it. Like I actually wanted to make my feature, which didn't get made. So then I made Hubahu. And then I made something else. And
did you ever see yourself managing to do a very difficult task of joining people of different generations through your shows? Have you ever considered, that yourself as this builder of the bridges?
Nahi yaar. I never thought about it like consciously or anything like that. But of course, as a filmmaker, you want all kinds of people to watch your show. Having said that, I never thought that anyone over 22 is going to watch Hip Hip Hurray or Romil and Jugal. I didn't think that anyone beyond college kids will watch it. But more people watch it, thank God. I'm happy.
Have you ever revisited your shows?
Never. I never watch anything of mine once it comes out. Because मुझे तो खाली अपने flaws ही दिखते हैं. When I watch something that I did like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago, I'm like, oh my God, cringe. कैसे बनाया, क्यों बनाया, ये कैसे शूट किया, ये क्यों इसको ओके क्यों बोला मैंने. So I just avoid watching.
इसको थोड़ा decode करते हैं because ये constant problem है of all creative people. They are very critical of their work.
Yeah, because as a person you're growing every day in some way or the other, subconsciously, consciously, in some way, you are. I was one person when I made Hip Hip Hurray. I was, I had different beliefs. I had not different beliefs. एक value system तो same ही होता है. That doesn't change. But the way you think of things, the way you approach things, the way even in terms of craft and filmmaking, I've hopefully gotten better at it. Now when I look back after 25 years, 28 years, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is early Nupur. That's not what audiences see. Audiences go with story, character, emotion.
Is there something, Nupur, that which you feel कि बहुत ज़्यादा challenging हो गया है in today's time, even for storytellers?
I mean, challenges तो तब भी थे, आज भी हैं, बस challenges बदलते जाते हैं. Like at that time, there was no streaming. There were only certain kind of films that were made. Either it was art house or it was commercial. There was no bridge there. Everyone kept you in boxes. Even today, people, have boxes that they want to put you in. Television has become a different beast. Who's watching it? What kind of stories are being told on TV today? Like even at that time, there were soaps, and then there were daily soaps. There were weekly shows. There were chances to make different kinds of shows. That's how Hip Hip Hurray got greenlit. Aaj, I don't know. Now those kind of shows have moved to streaming. So TV पे मुझे नहीं पता. I haven't watched TV in a very long time, so I don't know what's going on there. You see, today you can take an iPhone and make a film. उस time पे वो नहीं था. So now an iPhone film can compete with something that has been shot on Arri, and they can be judged on that same level in a sense. So like various challenges, raising money for a feature. Like right now the industry is in such a crisis, like at this moment in time. And that keeps changing.
Yes, the challenges have changed. But what did you enjoy more?
Oh, well, what I did enjoy during Hip Hip Hurray and another 10, 12 years after that is there was a lot of freedom. As a director, as a creator. And no one was telling me ki nahi, ye change karo, wo change karo. Or no, I think you should, or notes on a script. You make what you think is right and then you put it out there and then people react. Like even when I was making Hip Hip Hurray, it's not like Zarina was giving me notes on the script and then I would make changes and then I would shoot. No, we're like, this is the story for the week that we're going to be shooting. This is the next story. And then I would just go out and shoot it. And then she would watch the master, and that master we'll chat on. It goes directly to the channel, and that's the first time they're seeing it. So nobody from there is telling us what to do, how to make it, or anything like that. There's a great sense of freedom in that. And that's how original voices can be heard. That's how I could make Hip Hip Hurray the way I made it. When there are a lot of voices in the room, then you're taking the mean of everything, This works, this doesn't work. Oh, that is also very subjective, na? Matlab, एक ही scene, you can shoot it a different way, I can shoot it a different way, she can shoot it a different way, Who's to say which is better? So if you give full freedom, then the real original voices can be heard. Which is why, in indie filmmaking, you find that in today's scenario. Unke challenges alag hai. Like, they must be having crazy challenges of raising money, etc. But at least you're telling the story you want to tell. There's great freedom in that.
In general, there was a time when there were a lot of romantic films that were coming out. The number of those is getting reduced, even more so now. What do you think is the reason behind that?
Yeah, many aspects to this question. I recently read an article which talked about the death of the rom-com and how actually rom-coms in the 2000s, 90s and 2000s really taught generations how to feel emotion, how to forge connections, how to romance, and how to keep a relationship going. Today, with the kind of societies that we have now, which are so fragmented, people are having fewer emotional connections with people of the other gender or same gender, whichever. People are having fewer relationships, fewer people are getting married. Everyone is married to their phone instead. So I think there's like, what is society wanting to see? Automatically, the kind of films that are being made are not rom-coms. And and we're seeing more brutal stuff, Violence is on screen today, like in its full glory in a sense, and very graphic and stuff, and people are enjoying it. So it tells us something about ourselves as a society as well, that we are preferring that. Having said that, I think these are all things that are cyclical. They will come back. Also, the kind of story that you tell about romance, they need to mirror what's happening in real life. So if you make a romance or a love story or a romantic comedy today, it has to sort of address things that we are feeling, that men and women are feeling today, and then latch onto that. I mean, if you look at the iconic romance films of that, or of the 2000s, etc., Notting Hill, My Best Friend's Wedding, they caught a moment in time, of what we were as people. So I think today, if we want to make romantic films or rom-coms, we need to go back to that. And it's a bastardized genre. I mean, you know, people think that it's tougher to make a violent film, you know, an action film. I would say that getting comedy right, getting romance right is equally hard. Because to land that emotion where it feels honest and true is not that easy.
Yeah. Do you sometimes feel that, maybe हमने ज़्यादा idolize किया है disturbed, violent movies को rather than movies which focus on romance?
See, we are in a patriarchal society, right? So men automatically are attracted to action and gore and blood, etc. So when they are dismissive of romance and love and that genre, so then it's called chick flicks. Who's calling it a chick flick?
What's wrong with chick flicks?
I have no idea what the origin of that term is, and who coined it, but I'm pretty sure it was a man. Arey, ye to aurton ke liye, you know. So it's a chick flick. So it's not important, you know. But how dare they? So you're holding one genre in esteem and putting one other down. So therefore you know, go ahead and be a beast, you know. Enjoy the beastly stuff and not enjoy the finer emotions and the things that make us human. What makes us human? Yeah? Emotions, love. We all live for love, right? It can be of different kinds, you know, parental, siblings, man, woman, woman, man, whatever. But that's what we live for, na? Abhi सामने कोई murder हो जाए तो सब भाग जाएंगे, you know.
That's very, very aptly put. Just to put a closure to this wonderful conversation that, you know, we've had and so many insights. What is your wish for the future?
Bhai, to make quickly one film after the other. Yeah, very simple. I'm very simple. That's it.
And what is your one advice to the newer generation of filmmaker?
Read a lot. I feel that we've cut down on reading. When you read a book, you're exploring emotions, there's time travel happening, you're visiting situations. These are things that play in your mind and, you know, and I would say expose yourself to art, culture, music, all of that. That's what I would say that, you know, go there.
And to all the younger, the girls who are aspiring to be a director like you and, you know, delivering consistently, what would be your advice to them?
Just keep at it, you know. I mean, 10 doors are going to close and finally one will open. So don't get scared if the first 5 shut. Just keep banging away at different doors. Koi na koi to khulega at some point.
But thank you, Nupur, so much. Thank you for giving us, so many stories which revolve around love and filling the world with that emotion, which I think we need more than ever before.
Thank you
so much for
Thank you. Thanks
joining
for
us
having me.
on OkaBokaTV. Thank you,
Thanks.
Nupur. Thank you.
Thanks.